Hello, class. My name is Esperanza Mejia, and I will be sharing a sonnet with you today. The sonnet is titled It May Not Always Be So, and was written in 1954 by E. Cummings. I honestly had never really looked into his work very much, but as I found this poem and looked into him a little bit, I found out that he was actually pretty experimental with the type of work that he would do, like the way that he would develop his writings, and it definitely made me more attracted to read more from him. And just because he was experimental, that didn't mean that he didn't follow some traditions. For example, this sonnet is actually written in the sonnet structure of a patriarchan or Italian sonnet, which basically means that it consists of an octave and a sestet, a set of stanzas. And what actually caught my attention to the work was the obvious theme of love that's present in it. And also, as I read the poem, I found that the perspective it was written in seems to be from someone who is trying to develop acceptance for the loss of a lover to another person. And Cummings expresses the disheartening situation through this poem and through the narration of someone terribly in love with someone who will not remain for them. It is a very beautiful piece that actually made my heart ache a little. Simply from experience to a situation such as this, and also with an understanding towards the acceptance that the writer seems to have at the end of the poem. Now I will be reading it to you. Again, it is titled It May Not Always Be So, and I say, It may not always be so, and I say, that if your lips which I have loved should touch another's, and your dear strong fingers clutch his heart as mine in time not far away, if on another's face your sweet hair lay in such silence as I know, or such great withering words as uttering overmuch, stand helplessly before the spirit at bay. If this should be, I say, if this should be, you of my heart send me a little word, that I may go unto him and take his hand, saying, accept all happiness from me. Then shall I turn my face and hear one bird sing terribly afar in the lost lands. Now I'm going to do a brief explanation on what some of the stanzas mean throughout the poem that actually gave me some trouble. So in the beginning stanzas, he's actually remembering the affection that he had with this lover of his that he apparently seems to be losing or is afraid of losing. And especially losing them to someone else. The last two lines of the first of the octave stanzas, the last two lines, great withering words as uttering overmuch stand helplessly before the spirit at bay. When I first read those, it took me a little while to understand what exactly they meant, but as I looked into it further, it's basically him having been begging her to not go or to leave him, but that it was helpless. And I really like the first line of this is just something that I really like. I really like the first line of the set of stanzas, just because the repetition that he uses in if this should be, and I say if this should be, it's almost like you can tell that he doesn't want this to be that way. He doesn't want that to happen. But I absolutely love that at the end he says that he will allow this person who has now gained the affection of his lover to have all the happiness he has felt from having this person. And the last two lines are another set of stanzas that confused me a little bit, but it basically has to do with him being able to, even though he's able to accept that his lover is moving on, he does so reluctantly because he really doesn't want them to go because of all the love he has for them, and as he described in the first set of stanzas. And yeah, honestly, it was just a really beautiful poem that resonated with me, and on its own is very, very nice to read.